everybody, and welcome back to Radio Entrepreneurs. After my short hiatus, I am back in the Radio Entrepreneurs studio and chair. Glad to be here. Been listening to the episodes. I hope everybody listens to our last Family Business Association multiple panels. Very interesting on the model for successful family businesses. And again, I'm joined today by my favorite co-host. Where are you, my favorite co-host? There you are. Evan Macedo, VP Finance and Operations, Sapers and Wallack. Welcome back, Evan.
Thank you, Jeffrey. It's always a pleasure to be your trusty co-host. We've been doing this for a number of years, and it always amazes me about all the wonderful entrepreneurs we have on and the wonderful stories they have to tell.
And I'm going to let you introduce our next guest because you actually have a little background with this person.
Sure. Our next guest is Priya Chanduraj, CEO and president of FinTeam One, brand new company, but I've known Priya for quite some time, and she does an amazing job. So Priya, very excited to have you here today. Could you tell us a little bit about your new adventure you're starting?
A startup. Wow.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Thank you. This is really awesome to be on the show, and I feel truly honored. Yeah, like Evan said, I've been in the finance industry at multiple C levels, pretty much 2+ decades, and I decided to start my own venture because I really think we've done finances in the same way for God knows 400+ years, as much as companies existed. And I think that needs to evolve in terms of just the way the future is, and with technology being a key part of it. So my goal is to really build an infrastructure for small to medium-sized firms where we're able to provide financial services, be an end-to-end partner with them for all finance-related services, which means, what does this mean? Everyone usually asks me, right, with this goal. It really means from starting from your bookkeeping all the way to CFO and being that strategic partner. And I'm sure a lot of you have heard, the CFOs are no more just the numbers people. They're more like a modern CFO today because the stress level and the kind of information that they have to absorb every day is so high. The economy, there's so many different factors. So we do want to be a trusted partner in every phase of the finance world, right? So that means that, whether they're doing their bookkeeping, making sure the accounting operations are running, we want to be there for them, as well as being that strategic partner where they do need expertise. That's where I feel, we will do well. So really building the entire infrastructure to be able to support them.
Clearly very essential. And, so many times I see as a management consultant that organizations don't have strong financial departments, and it leads to problems. They like the people. So why don't we just get into what I like to call the Wayback Machine and talk a little bit about your background and your journey to where you are today.
Sure. So way back, born and raised in India. I'm originally from Bangalore, and came here about, again, 2+ decades ago. And I feel I've lived more in the US than in India at this point. I mean, I came from an entrepreneurial family. My dad was always in business. My grandparents, they did silk looms. So I don't know, cloth, to make silk looms. That's what we were in the business of. My grandfather they did the manufacturing. They had a factory, and then my father did the wholesale part. So it was truly like a family business association. I did accounting in my school years. I didn't want to do doctor or being an engineer. That was not really something that I enjoyed. So I chose to do accounting or finance. And I enjoyed it ever since. I feel like it, numbers, if I could put everyone with numbers, I would remember everyone's names, but I can't remember their names anymore. So I really feel like that is where I can look at information in a numbers manner, and I can really translate that to what happens. I can take any scenario and the numbers will speak to me. So I feel like I really enjoy that part. So with that, I worked for large Fortune 500 companies. I worked in energy sector for a long time. Did a lot of multiple roles, whether it was FP&A, core accounting, or even at the tail end of it, did a large transformation projects for these companies. I've also worked at like divisional CFO levels, managing these businesses as well. So with that, I start, my goal to start this. Okay. By the way, I must admit that I never thought I was going to be an entrepreneur. Like, to be honest, because I always thought, oh, it's one job after the other and something else. And I never went looking for roles. People just asked me to take a different role, like all the time. I always got poached from one CFO or the other. And I think this is really the first time I felt like there's something beyond what I've done before that I can do and make the change, especially with the knowledge and the skill set.
And Priya, I wanted to ask you, you mentioned you have over 2 decades of experience, C-level management, which has been phenomenal, technical accounting. You really have done the whole gambit in the financial CFO space.
Mhm.
This new adventure, I know you bring a lot of professionalism to the table. And I want to hear how are you building the team around you to make sure that you can sort of maximize all the opportunities for your clients, make sure they have that peace of mind, because it's a very intimate relationship between the CFO and the CEO. How are you making sure you're bridging those gaps, coming in as an outsourced service and still giving everyone that peace of mind that they need at the end of the day?
And, it's nice to see the financial person asking the organizational culture questions. Evan's very evolved, as you know.
Yeah. Yeah, and to be honest, when we did finance transformation, I think the core thing that we always focus on is the culture of an organization and really be that trusted partner for them. I think, and to be honest, that's why I kind of say I'm distinguishing myself compared to some of the other organizations, is I don't want to be termed as purely a bookkeeping or financial shop, because I think the goal here is to really understand the culture of an organization and find a way to bridge the gaps that they have. So for example, if they do have an accountant, but they don't have like FP&A capability, we really look at what they need to be able to, provide the right level of service. Because there are core things that every organization needs, no matter who does it. And our goal is to be able to bridge what they don't have and find a way to give them the value add that they do need to be a successful business. So having said that, that's really the value proposition for my clients. But for my own organization, Evan, I'll be truly honest. I think here is where I'm struggling to be. I'm great with numbers, like I love doing that part, but I think building a company is new to me. So I'm really defining the culture of how I want my organization to be honest. And I thought it would be very easy, but it's not. I can tell you that. So finding the right talent is also becoming challenge, because I want to ensure that numbers game is a very, like, you're not going to take your taxes to somebody you don't know, right? You have to have that trust, and I feel like that's so important. And my goal is to find the team that's very, the skill set that they bring to the table is first trust and have a very high standards for quality of work. I think those are the key things. So when people come to our organization and I'm able to provide the service, my team will be basically, showcasing the exact same values that we as an organization. And I definitely want people to have a way to have fun. I want to be able to excel in what we do. And I think those are the qualities somehow I'm going to put as part of my culture that we underline for an organization. Having said that, I think quality and skill set is like such a key aspect. And, in accounting and finance today, that's a huge challenge. So my whole idea is to find global talent based on what we need to provide services to our clients. So I do have an office in India. I have two offices in India, one in Bangalore and one in Rajasthan. So that will help us to kind of bridge the temporary gap in terms of providing value to the customers, as well as our skill set gap that we have.
So this is the last question. It's amazing how time flies. give us a sense of where do you see the business in the next 3 to 5 years?
So I think the way I'm envisioning this is there's going to be a lot more technology in place. I think we have to embrace technology. So one of the things we are doing at the forefront of it is going to have our own innovation hub. And our innovation hub is really focused on the tech stack that comes in fintech today. And like even now, if you go for an AP tool, there's tons of things in the market. People are having a hard time trying to figure out what they need to use because there's an information overload. And our goal is to make it easier for people based on their industry, company size, revenue, looking at what they need and how they need, and build a partnership framework that enables them to be successful. So I think looking at talent and technology is really the way I see us moving forward, because I don't think we can do one without the other.
Good. I hope we can get you to come back again and we can get a little bit deeper into some of the issues and also building culture, building team that is a reflection of the quality that you hold as a standard. But before you go, I'd like to just ask, in case someone's listening to the segment, if someone wants to get hold of you, how would they find you?
So we have a website. So it's finteam.one. It's not a .com, it's a .one. And so definitely go find, you can log into the website and book some time with us, and we'd be happy to just, do an exploratory call with you. You can also reach me by my email. It's Chanduraj@finteam.one. And I'm happy to talk to anyone who needs help.
And they can find you through us and through Evan Macedo. So
Yeah.
Evan, someone wanted to find her through you. Evan, how do people find you?
Well, as your trusty co-host, Jeffrey, I've said this many times, but you can find me on the Sapers-Wallack.com website. We have been in the financial services industry for 91 years now. And yes, I know I look pretty good for 91, but I'm here to support your employee benefits, executive benefits, and retirement planning needs.
Well, I've been in your offices and you say 91 years. They have a poster in Evan's office asking for bonds during the First World War. It's quite a poster if you ever go there. It's quite nice. And again, my name is JDavis, and this is just my hobby, having this podcast for almost 8 years. And we used to be a full radio show. And you can find me at Mage USA. It's Mage LLC, and we're a management consulting firm in the Boston area. And Priya, we hope we see you again on Radio Entrepreneurs.